We're going to do a shoulder workout. I'll run you through exactly how I would train my shoulders. One of the principles I run by, keep it simple, works for shoulders. What I do for shoulders though is work them back to front, front to back. And what I mean by that is one workout, I'll start with your standard presses and raises, go into your sides, rears, and then some traps to finish. The very next workout, I'll start with the rears, sides, presses, again traps to finish. And the reason I do that is that you need to maintain a balance with the shoulders. You know, the shoulder is, particularly from a bodybuilding perspective, is one, great shoulders look fantastic, but the shoulders are visible in every pose you do from every angle, front, side, back, except perhaps your overhead ab and thigh. So you need good shoulders, you need good front delts, you need good side delts, you need good rear delts. And I think to do that, like I said, you need to prioritise all of the different heads in the deltoid. This workout today, we're going to start with the rear. We're going to do the rear delts first, then we'll move into the sides, then we'll do our pressing movement, then we'll do some traps to finish. And like I said, I just find that a really effective way of training the shoulder and maintaining that balance throughout. So we're going to start with some rear dumbbell laterals on the incline bench. It'll be face down, 45 degrees. I do a lot of volume, I do a lot of supersetting with shoulders. I just find that quite effective as opposed to lots of heavy weight. So it'll be face down, 15 reps. As soon as I'm finished, I'll come around the back of the bench. I'll rest my head on the bench to minimise any momentum in the upper body, and I'll perform another 15 repetitions. I'll start and then I'll explain some more. One set. I'll do 4 rounds of that. With the movement, with each rep, I like to rotate that little finger up. I find that maximises the contraction in the rear delt for me. And the other thing you'll find is it's just the rep is performed in an arc, you know, so there's no bending and straightening of the elbow. It's just find that nice comfortable arc, and it's just pivoting at the shoulder, moving through the range of motion. Obviously, trying to minimise that momentum, make your delt do as much of the work as you can. And 15 reps. As we get heavier, we'll probably fail, but we're going to aim for 15. The idea with a superset is to obviously try and increase the intensity. Performing more volume, there's more time under tension, and the slightly different angles of the movement mean you're targeting the muscle in slightly different ways. So one, you're at 45 degrees, and in the bent over movement, you're probably more at 90 degrees. But the two together, you're performing 30 repetitions. So it's a lot of work, a lot of intensity. And obviously the heavier we go, as I said, you're probably gonna, well, I find I will anyway, I'll fall short, but that's exactly what I'm after. You set yourself a rep range of 15 and you perform the 15 comfortably every time. You're only going to achieve so much. You want to set yourself something and struggle to get there or fail to achieve it. And as far as I'm concerned, then that's, you're making progress. So that's what I was talking about. You got the 15 reps face down, and then swung it back around on the other end for the superset, and I think I got about 12. So we didn't quite get there, but we achieved our purpose. So smash the rear delt, nice and pumped, nice and full. 4 rounds, aiming for our 15. Now good to move on to our side delts. Okay, we're going to do some side delts. We're going to stick with the dumbbells and our lateral raises. Look, there's a few ways you can do them. The success I've had with developing the side delts has not been through heavy weight. Kept the weight down, tried to minimize the momentum through the movement, try and activate the side delt as much as I can. Just a smooth rep tempo. Again, we rotate that little finger to try and achieve a maximal contraction through the delt. Minimal rest between sets. You can perform it as a standalone, or again, another great exercise if you want to incorporate a superset with some cable work or some dumbbell work from a different angle. Let's do this one just as a standalone. You see we rotate that little finger. As far as the height of the movement, I don't think you need to come above parallel with the shoulder. I find that quite effective. I do feel if you come up and over the shoulder that there's too much impingement on the joint, and I think over time that that'll cause you some problems. The other thing with the movement you sometimes see people do is I'll have the dumbbell, if you see that, higher than the elbow. I think that reduces the effectiveness of the intensity on the delt. Elbow and dumbbell need to be the same height at all times. And again, it's just an arc through the shoulder as opposed to this sort of thing. Not a straight arm, but you want a reasonable width. If your arms are too narrow, in terms of too bent, I think you'll find that your weight's too heavy. You'll get more benefit from the movement going with a lighter weight and a little bit wider. Look, this is a great exercise to perform in the mirror, just to make sure that both arms are even and you're getting the same height. A lot of it will be feel, but I mean, obviously the mirror, there's a big visual movement to the visual aspect to the movement. And the other thing is, I don't think it makes a difference whether you start from the front or whether you start from the side. You know, if you're getting that height with that controlled movement, I think both of those variations will hit the side delt quite effectively. Alright, so far with these side lateral raises, all we've done are just straight sets, aiming for our 15 reps. So with our final set, obviously we're aiming for maximal intensity. You know, going to failure will be great. So what we'll do is just a big drop set. So we'll start on our weight, we'll aim for 15. We'll just work our way down the rack, seeing if we can get 15 all the way down. Not anything new, you know, people do this sort of stuff all the time, but very effective. And again, what do I say? Keep it simple. That was the last set. Obviously you want plenty of intensity. I don't know whether we did, I lost count, 4 sets, 5 sets, but you know, 60 reps, 75 reps. It's a big set, a lot of volume. But again, with the delts, I find that sort of stuff very effective. Side delts done, let's do some presses. Okay, so we've done our rear delts. We started with them for today's workout. We've just done our side delts. Now we're going to do some front delts. So with the front delt, what I'm going to do incorporate is another superset. I do like my pressing movements. Actually, continuing with the theme that we've done, I don't like going super heavy, and one of the reasons that heavy shoulder presses do give my shoulders a bit of grief. But a moderate weight with a nice smooth rep range, a moderate rep tempo, aiming for our 15 supersetter with some front raises, for me works really, really well. So we've got the press set up, we're going to aim for 15, then we're going to go over to the dumbbell rack and we're going to go for some front raises. Let's do it. And that's one set. With the front raises, I actually like to perform them maintaining a neutral grip throughout. And at the top of the movement, I do like to bring the dumbbells together. I just find that it helps me contract that front delt a little bit better, and I do find it a little bit more effective. So our press to the front, I don't like pressing to the rear. Again, it gives me some impingement through the shoulder joint. Presses to the front, front raises with a neutral grip. Pretty standard in my shoulder workouts. So we're going to add some weight, Like I said, shoulders is just one of those muscles that from the front, from the side, from the rear, it's visible. So you want to develop all three heads as equally as you can, so it's impressive from all angles. Add some weight, add some weight. And again, that's what we want, you know, aiming for a rep range and not quite get in there. What I do find at the moment in between shows, obviously nice and lean. Strength is okay, but the muscular endurance is down a little bit. One of the things too, when you're nice and lean, you do need to be careful of your form and your technique, as you are a little bit more susceptible to injury. Whew. All right, rear delts done, side delts done, front delts done. I do like to finish my shoulder workouts off with some traps. So we'll set ourselves up, we'll do some shrugs. Okay, we're going to finish off our delts with doing some traps. With the traps, I love doing shrugs. Never found that I've ever got a great deal out of doing upright rows, so I stick with my traps. I'll actually perform a superset with the traps on the bar. First set will be to the rear, second set will be to the front. I find by hitting it those two different ways, those two different angles, it gives me a good combination of depth on the trap and from the front, height. I did try the shrugs from the rear many years ago. For those of you that are old enough to remember, I remember seeing a Mr. Olympia by the name of Lee Haney perform them. Tried them, loved them, always done them. 15, 15, 15 from the rear, 15 from the front. First set and first couple of sets I'll perform with no straps. I think it's important that your forearms get the work. Your grip strength is also important to hang on to and move the heavy weights. But when we do get heavy, we'll use the straps, and the reason being, traps are a big muscle, they're a strong muscle. We want to train the traps, we want them to fail, not the forearms. So I think the straps, particularly in this movement, is important when you get heavy. Okay, so we'll do our heavy set. We'll use our wrist straps. We'll still pull plenty of reps out of that without the straps, but like I said, we're not training forearms, we're training traps. So we'll use the straps, and that'll finish off a shoulder workout nicely. Always pictured way back from a young fella how I wanted to look. Nice round shoulders, nice high square traps. I've always said about trying to build a physique that resembled that. The exercise selection in today's shoulder workout I've found to be very, very effective over the years. Make sure your hand spacing is even. I don't get into, rolling or anything like this. For me, it's straight up, squeeze, straight down. You will need to bend your knees a little bit and tuck your bum in to perform it from the rear. And that's how I train the traps. 4 sets, sometimes 5. It'll depend on a feel thing and an energy thing. But push like that, nice and heavy, straight up and down, works really, really well. The only other consideration you might have with these is perhaps the use of a belt. I don't use a belt all that much, but I do find that very effective. And that shoulder's done.